encountered white people who are in relationships with people of colour who are still racist.
Yeah. What the British Empire did to black people, when we can stay away from that institution, it's a good thing.
If a man had his bum pinched, he would never be traumatised by it. I think that METOO has gone too far. Yeah. I don't think there's any connection between bum pinching or knee touching and rape.
Don't you think that's an there is a connection.
That's so sad that you don't see that. There is a connection. The whole thing with Me Too is that it never ever started out to just be about rape. It was a variety of things that women were posting about, and I think it's so disappointing that some men are just taking that view of it, like when there's so much trauma.
At the end of the day, I don't know if this is the direction that you're going in, but the guys that have done like the most craziest, disgusting things might be compared to the guys who still they shouldn't have done it, but maybe they were treading on thin lines, but it isn't comparable.
I think it's such a good thing that we're able to have conversations about smaller instances of sexual mishaps.
But I think they come with a great deal of perspective.
It prevents a situation where every single one of my friends can name 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times where they've felt uncomfortable in a sexual situation. I don't want my children to grow up in like a world like that, my daughters.
There are a lot of things as well, like catcalling. Catcalling isn't a form of sexual appreciation. A lot of the time it's done. It's to express an invasion of space and dominance, because the minute that you register that you're not interested in it, it can become quite abusive.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm interested in, because I think there has been a kind of cultural shift, is that younger women feel as if they can't stand up to these things in the moment, whereas a lot of kind of older women think, well, give them a slap, tell them to fuck off.
I'm one of those people, if someone does catcall me on the street, I will shout back to them. I don't have a problem with that, but it still makes me feel awful afterwards.
I just think it's too passive, and we need to really trust women to negotiate relationships in the moment.
But you've never been in this situation before, have you?
And
you've never been followed down the street. You've never seen someone.
A lot of people haven't been in a situation. No. I'm not gonna lie. I do feel that there has to be some sort of debate on the flip side, because I have heard stories of the exact same thing happening to males, and I feel, cool, maybe the numbers are not big enough, but even if it happens to one male, that is wrong.
Have you been catcalled? What can I say? This is the difference, isn't it? Because when I get catcalled, I'm like, oh my god, and he's like, hi.
I'm joking.
If any women want to harass me, my DMs are open.
Wow.
I promise you that if a man had his bum pinched, he would never be traumatised by it. I would not believe that.
I mean, I don't know, I pretty much grew up presenting as a boy, and I did have it, and I did find it traumatising.
When I was growing up in school, we didn't learn about any of this stuff. Yeah, we did have sex education and whatever, but you didn't learn about how to treat someone or how to behave around.
I don't think people necessarily need to have a conversation. You know, people manage to have sexual relationships without this kind of formal training.
Yeah, it can be non-verbal. It can be, but
people have managed for ages. You know, people. I don't get it.
People have managed for but have women been managing for ages, or have we been ending up in situations?
I feel like we need to remember as well that for centuries we have had a culture where this has not had to be discussed, because consent was almost a nebulous thing that men didn't really actually have to think about. And I feel like sometimes the kind of gone too far thing is the burden starting to be handed towards men to actually process this problem, and everyone gets very defensive about it. It's really frustrating.
To be honest, I feel that it could improve race relations. It's in the mainstream, everyone's going to be talking about it internationally. A duchess from a certain background who is now going into the royal family, it's almost like monumental, unheard of.
Because you've used the phrase race relations, I have encountered white people who are in relationships with people of colour who are still racist.
Yeah.
And I've encountered white people who have children who are mixed race who are still racist.
I think there is too many ingrained issues to do with racism, prejudice, colorism.
There's been a lot of liberal fawning over this, the potential of this marriage, that, the monarchy's finally got a lick of diversity and therefore it's okay. That really disturbs me, because, the thing I think we should be focusing on is the fact that we still have a bloody monarchy.
They're used as charity mascots, where we have a government that doesn't address social injustice, so it doesn't it's not funneling in money to say knife crime, or it's let's send in the royals as kind of again, it's all like
Well, that's
benefactors.
the only
Yeah,
way
so
that they
he
can
was-
relate to us, the public, is through charity, as if we're all, you know, charity cases, basically.
Actually, as people like William and Harriet have always seemed like kind of all right. I believe that like they care about their charity work as individuals, but the entire like system of monarchy is a PR stunt, like the whole thing. And I think with Prince
British
Harry,
Empire,
yeah,
which is
so
inherently
yeah,
racist.
and so some of the problems like I don't know about like going into inner city black communities.
I don't believe that it's like a PR stunt, like, yeah, I need to go and visit these communities because it's going to make us look good. What a lot of people need to understand is that they're human beings as well.
You know, I don't have a problem with him going in and speaking to people and doing all this crap. I just think people shouldn't listen. Not because they're black communities, but because he's Prince Harry.
I don't totally agree.
You know,
I don't totally
There's nothing
agree.
of value to add to anyone's life.
I totally feel that saying that, Harry's getting married to Meghan, so now he's going into black communities. I feel that when people say that, it can be a very dangerous thing to say. And I don't totally agree with it. I don't believe...
Okay, you know what you need to do? You need to read Benjamin Zephaniah's essay on why he rejected his OBE
last year,
in the 2000s.
I accepted my honour from the Queen last year. So,
Yeah.
I'm ready to help.
That was such a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
No one's ever given me anything.
I'm expecting mine in the post, and I'll take it
I'm
back
glad
anyway.
that you got recognition for that because of what the British Empire did to black people. I think when we can stay away from being involved with that institution, it's a good thing.
No, definitely, but people need to understand it from the flip side. I was recognised by the Queen. I remember when I received a letter in the post, and immediately you sort of do have those thoughts going through your head. You do hear the empire within the name and all of that. But from where I'm from, people don't have these experiences. People don't get to meet the Queen. People don't hear about this. I'm from Brixton, where it's rough. Like, totally agree.
I always go back to
you know,
this quote from Solange because pop culture. She was just talking about how you can build your own institutions, like make
definitely.
your own awards and be the gold you want to hold, my G's. Because like, especially for black people, we don't have to be ascribing to these systems and these award ceremonies. We can make our own awards.
Yeah, no,
we can recognise each other.
I
You know
feel
what I mean?
that way as well, totally. That can be taken out of proportion. But I feel a lot of people just want things to be negative. Sometimes just live your life and be like good, like.